Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today I want to do another Xbox Series X versus PlayStation 5 video. It's been over 2 years since I've had both of them. We're just starting to get into 2023. If the recent games that have dropped have been any testament to what we're going to be seeing going forward, that's pretty good. I'm pretty excited. I'm actually more excited now than I kind of have been. You know, we've went through a lot of cross-gen games the last couple of years. We've been pretty spoiled when it comes to, 4K, 60 frames a second, getting ray tracing. But we're starting to see a little bit of how the rest of this generation is really going to pan out. So let's take a minute. We'll talk about like the Xbox, the PlayStation 5, the features, what's happened, how things have evolved, and why I think things are going to get better for actually both of them. I think both of them are going to have a really healthy generation, and I think they're both going to thrive pretty much equally. So today is the day. I mean, I'm just waiting for it now. Today's PSVR 2 day, and that's pretty cool, man. Like for the PSVR 2 for PlayStation to have this in their ecosystem is pretty cool. There's a lot of people that are interested in VR. I know myself, I'm really into rally racing or racing games. So the fact that I get to play the full game of Gran Turismo 7 this time, as opposed to just a tech demo on GT Sport last generation, I'm really excited to see this. I've been a fan of Polyphony Digital for a very, very long time, ever since the first Gran Turismo. It does suck that you have to pay $550 to play, but I got a few other games that we're going to be checking out later today. So that's pretty cool. I am pretty excited about that. But let's talk about these consoles and where I see things right now, and why I feel like you could potentially pick either one and be just fine. Now, as you've seen, pretty much throughout this whole generation, you've had, for the most part, parity with a lot of these games. You know, Xbox is, supposedly the more powerful console, and it is. I mean, obviously on paper, it does have more power. It's the Xbox Series X this whole generation has been the more seamless experience, though. For PlayStation 5, it was a rocky start hardware wise, and it's gotten significantly better over the last couple of years. I'm actually part of the beta program right now, testing the newest beta that's going to be bringing Discord and VRR support to 120 or VRR support to 1440p. 1440p update was about where I started getting happier with the PlayStation 5. That's when things started to get better because I could just run it natively on a 1440p monitor. So that really that greatly enhanced the experience for me. And I was able to, play my games that I wanted to play and still get my performance mode and still get my pretty visuals. So that was pretty good for me. Then, with Xbox Series X, it's pretty much had all those features in there the whole time. Now I do have to say that I am still a little irritated that the Xbox Series X or Series S, you can't run HDR at 1080p or 1440p. You have to have the 4K selected. So if you do that, for me, and this is the reason why it bugs me for this. If you're playing on a 4K TV, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just select the allow 4K. You can run it at whatever resolution you want, and it will still let you go above, your 60 frames or something. But if you have a 1440p monitor or a 1080p monitor, and they support HDR, this is where you're going to run into the problem, because if you allow 4K, you'll be locked at 60 frames a second. You won't be able to do anything higher than that. So that kind of sucks. That is a problem, that if you are running on a 1440p monitor, you are going to have to leave HDR on the table if you want higher frame rates. than 60, of course. But if you're okay with 60, then you can keep your HDR on or whatever. And but that really sucks, and I do want people to make a bigger shout out about that. If you're a content creator, um, and you don't have the money for a PC or any of that kind of stuff, and you just want to be able to stream to Twitch or stream to YouTube, PlayStation is going to be your better choice for that. You're going to be able to get in there, and you're going to be able to, not only can you stream right to Twitch or YouTube from your PlayStation 5, but you can actually save whole clips of video up to an hour at a time, or you can record up to 30 minutes at 4K 30, or 1080p, an hour at 1080p at 60 frames a second. And then you can get into what they have is the share lab or something. There's like a share lab in there that you can get in there, and you can edit your videos and everything right from your PlayStation 5, and then directly upload those right to YouTube. So that is pretty cool. The Xbox's solution to that. Now there are ways around that on Xbox, of course. Everything except for the DVR. The DVR, I think you're locked at about 3 minutes of footage that you can record on your Xbox Series X or S. But you can stream directly to Twitch from your Xbox, and then if you use something else like Aircast, then as you're streaming to Twitch, you can also stream that directly to YouTube at the same time. So there's that way. But uploading videos from your Xbox to YouTube, yeah, you are kind of locked at like 3 minutes. You can upload your videos from Xbox right to Twitter as well. Like you can upload up to a minute or something, or a couple minutes. You can upload that straight over to Twitter. So I don't know, man. That one is a pretty tough thing. If you're not willing to invest in a PC to be in a capture card to be able to capture all of your Xbox footage, then the PlayStation 5's got a built-in, essentially a built-in HD 60X capture card. It's got a built-in one of those. It'll do 4K 30. It'll also do the 1080p 60, and those are about $200 for that capture card. So you're getting a $200 capture card in your PlayStation 5, but you can only use it for your PlayStation 5 and for your PlayStation 5 games. So that is interesting if you're a content creator and you're looking at wanting to be able to create content easily. The PlayStation does take that one home easily. As we've seen some of the games this generation, I will say that the PlayStation 5 does appear to be doing ray tracing better, if that is something that you are wanting. It does appear that the PlayStation's solution for ray tracing might be a little bit better. There might be something that's baked into the API that helps the developers utilize checkerboard rendering to upgrade the image quality for the ray tracing. Just like they did in like Spider-Man and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, they do render it quarter resolution and then upscale those using checkerboard rendering to 4K. So the reflections do tend to look a little better. The reflections tend to look a little better on the PlayStation 5 games that utilize ray tracing. But then there's some that are exactly the same. So I don't know if it's something that developers just aren't taking advantage of, and we won't know until we finally see something that proves that they are, or they're just not doing that good for the Xbox. But as it sits right now, if you're into ray tracing, then PlayStation 5 has a little bit more of a selection of games that are utilizing ray tracing, and it does look a little bit better on the PlayStation. So that's something to think about. But where the Xbox really shines is in multiplayer games, is with they're gonna have they have Game Pass. So these things right here, well, Game Pass is the biggest pull to the Xbox ecosystem. You get lots of games for very low price. And yeah, you can talk about renting them all you want, but man, my generation, we grew up renting games. And with the addition of the Activision Blizzard franchises, pretty soon it looks like that deal's probably going to go through without a whole lot of restrictions. That's going to bolster that first party studio support for Xbox. And I know, like earlier in the generation when they got Bethesda, I was pretty excited for that. I was like, "Well, man, now maybe these Microsoft studios can utilize Bethesda tech like id Tech and put it into their games and stuff like that." But it still seems like a lot of these companies are going to want to turn toward that Unreal Engine 5 and like we've got Fortnite. Fortnite looks pretty good right now. And then once we start seeing some more of these Unreal Engine 5 games, I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence a little bit about Unreal Engine 5 and how that's going to um and how that's going to look and feel in this generation going forward because we're starting to see some other games, like Forspoken on the PlayStation 5 coming out with really low resolution for a performance mode. We've also had other games that are coming out, like Harry Potter and stuff coming out around 1080p or Hogwarts Legacy. We've got some games that are coming out at 1080p. We're still going to be getting our 4K 30 frames a second, and then our our sub 4K resolution modes, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do highly recommend that you invest in a 1440p monitor if you really want to be able to take advantage of the of resolution and high frame rate at the same time and have it still look pretty decent because man, that's been part of the struggle with these consoles during the early part of this generation, by when I first got into it and I'm like, well, I want to see my 4K and stuff, because I was naive when I got into this generation. I was expecting, like, yeah, man, these consoles are like twice the power of the last one, so they should be able to give us 4K 60 frames a second, but that just hasn't turned out to be the case on a lot of things. And that sucks, especially if you're going out and spending, a couple $1,000 on a TV. That really does suck. But as it sits, my feelings about these consoles right now is I love my Xbox. I love the Xbox ecosystem. I love what they are doing. I appreciate Game Pass. I appreciate the way they're just, going out and expanding and building different games, like Grounded. They're building Forza Horizon. They're building, Hellblade. They're building all these games that, in my opinion, feel a little bit more unique as opposed to, every single game being the same type of genre. It's good. I like that. But a lot of people looking in on the Xbox platform, they're like, "Oh man, well, I don't want to play Grounded, or I don't want to play that, or that's a racing game, or something like that." And they don't understand. They don't necessarily understand because they're not used to having that type of an option. They're not used to having that kind of a choice. Like games like Sea of Thieves, like this game is cool. It's community building. It's a fun experience and it's definitely fun with friends. And Microsoft or Xbox, they tend to go for those games that are going to pull people together and you're going to be able to play them. Whereas like on the PlayStation side, you're going to get your games like God of War that are single player. You're going to get, and they're not going to have any, you know, real multiplayer. So you're not going to be able to really reach out and hang out with people. PlayStation is getting a little bit better on this. They picked up the Bungie, so the Destiny guys. They're definitely focusing more on some games as service games this generation. So you're probably going to see a lot of that from PlayStation. But when it comes to Xbox, you're getting a I want to you're getting a library of games and you're getting them on Game Pass. Like you pay a subscription fee, so then you're not out like $70 for each one of these games. You get to play as many of these games as you want, during your 1 month if you subscribe for a month, and you'll be able to try out and play multiple different titles and be able to see if there's, hey man, is there something else I like? Because as a gamer, with this hobby getting more and more expensive every generation, you want more of what you want to do. And I know like the little PlayStation guys are going to try to reason it as, oh, I just want quality. I just want quality. Well, yeah, dude, I want quality too, but if I go out and I spend $70 on a game like Dead Space, it was what, 12, 13 hours? $70. 13 hours, man. Yeah, you can definitely replay that. $70 for the Last of Us remake. Yeah, it took me about 12 hours. And then and then I was done. I moved on from it, like these games, like yeah, they're really high quality visuals, they're high quality, story content, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, 12 hours is 12 hours. Callisto Protocol, $70, 12 hours. You see where I'm going with this? Like if you buy a game and you play it for 12 hours, then that's it. If you're somebody that likes to replay them and replay them and replay them over and over and over again, I'm not. I'm not that kind of person. I don't mind replaying them after a while, but for the most part, like just sitting there and replaying and replaying and replaying the game, yeah, not for me, not for me. That's why I lean towards heavily towards like open world games, because I can get in those and keep playing them and exploring more things and stuff like that. So, or multiplayer games, you get into a game, you buy a game, first person game or for single player game, and then you go through the story content, and then they got a multiplayer after that, so you can continue to stay in that world and enjoy playing that game with other people. Those are pretty cool. But Microsoft leans heavily towards making those types of experiences where you can continue to hang out in that world and play that game and be with friends and stuff. Whereas PlayStation, they really do cater to that single player experience. So, but having that single player experience is not bad. I love those games. I keep buying them. It's the longevity of how long they last, and why Game Pass pretty much would be perfect for a company like PlayStation, for people that don't necessarily need to own those games but want to just play through those, because that yeah, I'm not saying that it's a waste of money. And the PlayStation guys are always screaming about their quality up. I'm not saying it's a waste of money, but $70 for anywhere from 12 to 13, 12 to 25 hours, that's a little bit of an ask, man, especially if you're not gonna play that game again. That just puts you in a situation to where, like, okay, I'm done with that, now I need something new. And if you're continuously paying $70 for all these 12-hour games, that adds up pretty quick. Whereas with Game Pass, you spend your 15 bucks a month, $10 a month if you don't care about the online thing, but there's some games that you're going to need the online to play those. But $10 a month to play these games, and you can play hundreds of them for $10. Now, I want to give PlayStation credit for PlayStation Plus Premium and PlayStation Plus Extra, because those do offer you a value if you are new to that ecosystem. If you're an Xbox guy and you're getting a PS5 for the first time, and you sign up for PlayStation Plus Premium for a whole year, you're going to 100% get your money's worth, because there is a great catalog of games that are right there at your fingertips for you to take advantage of. But if you're somebody that's already been in the PlayStation ecosystem like myself, and buying all those games, the value does start to go down pretty significantly, pretty fast actually, because they're not adding those new games day and date to that service. So that really does that really doesn't bode well or make too much sense if you're a long-term PlayStation fan, to like sign up for PlayStation Plus, unless you want the premium for the back catalog. My experience with that and streaming some of those games and playing some of that stuff, it just hasn't been like ideal. The experience hasn't been that great, so it's kind of better that you just leave those games in the past to an extent. If they did remakes of some of those games, that would be kind of cool. But I would like to see Sony's full back catalog, like SOCOM and all these other games, come to the service. That would actually be a lot better. I'd be more willing to play that type of stuff than some of the stuff they're sticking on there right now. But as it sits, man, I feel like this is starting to get a little bit more equal. It's not so one-sided on Xbox anymore. It's not so stacked against PlayStation. I struggled with PlayStation a lot, man, in this first of this generation. But now new things are coming out for the PlayStation, like this DualSense Edge. This DualSense Edge, man, this has greatly enhanced my experience for playing games. Like my hands just fit this controller so much better, and it just feels so much more premium in terms of the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. It feels a lot better. I mean, I've had the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller for a very long time, and that there, yeah, equally premium experience. So I feel like there's really not too much that's separating either of these platforms aside from, like the exclusive content, where with PlayStation you pretty much know what you're going to get. You're going to get the same type of games that you've been getting for the last couple of generations. Since PlayStation 3, it's pretty much stayed pretty close to the same for the most part. You will get those third party deals that are going to come to PlayStation probably first. And then, on the Xbox side, there's the stuff that Xbox has got coming that they've announced. Trust me, I'm more excited for a lot of that stuff than I am for any of the games that PlayStation's got coming out. Like I'm more excited for PlayStation VR 2 than the upcoming games that PlayStation first party have got coming out. I'm not really that excited for anything that's Naughty Dog coming out. For Insomniac, like I'll always love and support Insomniac. I love those guys. The way they build their games, the the way the games feel when you play them. Like I love Insomniac, so I will always support them. Sony Santa Monica. I mean, the last God of War Ragnarok didn't really sit well with me. I like 2018 way better. 20 Ragnarok was just kind of like a just kind of fell short for me, and I don't like that. I don't like that experience fell short for me. I don't like that. I waited a long time to play the rest of that, and that just was like and get mad at me all you want. I just did not care too much for that one. Horizon Forbidden West though. Definitely things looked up a lot better for that game. I did like that one. It was a really rocky start, but as time has went on, that game's gotten fixed. It's gotten multiple patches. It's in a far better state than it was at launch. And yeah, dude, I do recommend playing that experience. I recommend Forspoken too. I love Forspoken. On the Xbox side, man, we've got amazing first party games like Flight Simulator that you just cannot get on anything else except for PC. Flight Simulator is an incredible game. It runs incredible on your Xbox Series X or S, and it's breathtaking to be able to fly across the whole planet, go wherever you want, and see whatever you want. It's incredible. It is an incredible experience that, yes, you might not sit there and play it all day long, but you've got literally thousands upon thousands of hours worth of content in a game like Flight Simulator. Now, you might want to learn how to fly a plane, you might not, whatever, but you can jump into any of them fighter jets. You could buy a fighter jet, DLC, and you can just fly those around. And that is fun. Flying those planes really fast is pretty fun. Other games, Halo Infinite, man. Halo Infinite is a great game. Got a good single player campaign that you can play co-op. There's plenty of multiplayer excitement inside that you can get in there and play with friends. Now I know the game's dead. Everybody keeps saying it's dead, but yet here it lives. Here it lives in the in the ecosystem of Xbox, continuing to bring players in and having fun with that. You got Forza Horizon 5 that is getting a rally DLC here shortly. Man, if you're a rally fan, that's a dream come true. And that's just an add-on with a brand new big map for this experience. And that's cool, man. The stuff that Xbox builds and brings to the community, whether it takes some time or not, like they're cool experiences. You get into Forza Horizon 5, you play that game, and then it gets updated, and then you play it some more. And that's a good thing, man. That's good that your games are getting updated. With backward compatibility, you can play games on your Xbox all the way from the original Xbox generation. Whereas PlayStation, you can now too, but you have to pay like some sort of fee to be able to experience that, and nothing runs, and it's not native, it's emulated. So it's it's definitely an interesting time, and I would like to see more gamers give Xbox, a chance and an opportunity for what they've built this last few years. It is true. We are still kind of in a waiting pattern for a lot of stuff, and I have been a little bit bitter with Xbox lately due to the fact that I've been waiting for Forza Motorsport for forever, and I was hoping that it would launch sometime in March, but here we are still, and now we are here in March with no release date for that, and I'm a little bitter about that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bitter about that, but I still 100% support the mission that Xbox is on. I love the fact that they are bringing more choice and more value to gamers everywhere in select countries. That they're bringing, more selection to more people and giving them a way to be able to enjoy and play more games for a reasonable monthly fee. Like, that is super reasonable. $15 or $10. That is a really reasonable that's a really reasonable fee for the quality and content that are on Game Pass. That is more than reasonable. I've bought in a lot of these games that have come to Game Pass. I've bought in a lot of them. That first year, adding everything up that I bought that came to Game Pass. Yeah, man, that was such a good value. $180 for I added it up. It was like $5,000 worth of games that came to Game Pass, and I was like, gosh dang, man, I could have saved a lot of money. And so I've been taking more advantage of my Game Pass subscription, especially with some of these games. The most recent one, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Yeah, dude, I'm playing that on Game Pass. I'm not even gonna buy that one. Maybe later down the road, maybe when it goes on sale or something, maybe I'll pick it up. But I am gonna utilize my Game Pass subscription a lot more. Atomic Heart, definitely another cool game that I've been playing around with. I haven't beat it yet, but I'm still playing around with that, and I'm still having some fun with it. I get a little bit frustrated getting in there and like doing some of the underground bases and stuff. I mean, they're not bad, but they're just they kind of drag on a little bit for me. So I play it in session. With PlayStation 5 games, I've already beat everything that's come out. I got PSVR 2 coming today, so I'm pretty excited about that. I feel like that's going to put PlayStation on a different level, in a more potentially must-have experience. So I'm excited to look into that. I'm excited to see what that has to offer. We'll be playing around with that today. Be doing an unboxing video, be doing some other stuff with that. PSVR 2. I am into VR. I've got, as you can see up there, PSVR 1, right above that, Oculus Quest 2. I like VR. I want to see VR continue to grow and get better. So yes, I will definitely do what I can do to help that come along, whether that be buying the equipment myself or making video content for it. I want to see VR get better. I want to see VR be Ready Player One status pretty soon, man. Like, I want to see that before I die. So I don't know. So, all right, man. As it sits right now, I think PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are one hell of a freaking value when it comes to playing games on them. Still do think the PlayStation is charging a bit a bit much. They should find a way to really provide. I want PlayStation to be able to come back and provide an equal value for its gamers and for its ecosystem, whether that be bringing their first party games to PlayStation Plus faster. Maybe that's the answer. But as it sits right now, Xbox is still 100% the better value. If you are struggling for money, or if you just don't want to waste a whole bunch of money buying games and you want to play more, Xbox is 100% a better value. PlayStation 5, they do everything they can to try to make that, to using what they've got in the PlayStation 5 to deliver a premium experience. And I do appreciate that as well. Whether you think I don't, I do appreciate that. I do appreciate the fact that it might cost you a little bit more money, but for the most part, like it is starting to feel more premium. Like it is starting to feel more premium, you know, in terms of like my DualSense Edge, $200 for that controller, a 4.5 hour battery life, but it feels so much more premium. Like this right here is the feeling that I wanted, that I when I heard people talking about the DualSense, I mean the DualSense controller, I was like, oh man, that's gonna feel cool. And then when I get my patty cakes on the DualSense Edge, I'm like, okay, man, that feels way more premium. The the haptic feedback feels way better, and the adaptive triggers, man, they're actually something we're talking about now. Before on that cheap chintzy DualSense, man, I don't like that controller. I don't like the base DualSense controllers. I don't like them. They don't feel that good. If my Edge broke, I would buy another one. That really sucks. I would buy another one so that I could continue to play my PlayStation with it. As for Xbox, man, they have no shortage of controllers. The 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 Elite Series 2 is one heck of a controller. You can tighten these knobs. One thing about the DualSense Edge is you can replace the joystick. So if you get drift, you just buy another cartridge, stick it in there, $20. Really easy to get in and out. With the Xbox controller, you got the adjustable thumbstick, so you can tighten the tension on those, and that definitely feels good for certain games. You're going to want that little bit tighter control. The triggers on here with the springs, man, oh, so nice when you're playing like a racing game or something like that. You can just the tension that it puts on your finger without having to be like a little motor that pushes. That's why the DualSense Edge feels better, because it feels a lot better like this. And even when and it feels like the adaptive triggers are a lot more fine tuned. They don't feel as clunky and hard and crunchy. Now they feel a lot smoother all through that, so that feels better. I love this controller. I love this controller. I love the Xbox controllers. I love the way they feel when you're playing racing games, shooting games, stuff like that. They're both great. So, man, I do. I feel like Xbox and PlayStation have really stepped it up this generation. I feel like going forward, this is going to be a lot more interesting, especially after Microsoft closes that Activision deal. I do see a change. I do see a change in the gaming landscape going forward from that. I do see them being on the same level going forward. I feel like that's going to bring in enough money to the Xbox platform to really push to really create competition going forward. And I'm grateful that PlayStation will still have access to that Activision content, because yeah, dude, it is true. They do need that sweet Call of Duty money to build their games. Like they do. They have to have that. It's just kind of the way that PlayStation has built their business model to rely on third party studios to fund PlayStation products. And as bad as that sounds, like we do need that. We do need the God of Wars. We do need the Horizon Zero Dawns. We do need the freaking Days Gone games. We do need those premium level pushing visual, pushing showcases on the PlayStation 5. We need those. Whether you believe it or not, we do need those. We do need that level of investment from PlayStation going forward with their first party games, because even if they don't sell a whole bunch, it's still part of the PlayStation branding. It's still part of the PlayStation image that they have the best looking games. Like that's part of that, and it needs to continue to grow and stay that way. Even if the games are going to get a little bit shorter, whatever, it still needs to be that way. It still has to be that way. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Thank you for watching. I know this is a bit longer, but I'm pretty excited about these consoles, and I want to see them continue to grow. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.